the psychology of emotional toughness. We'll be unpacking the habits of some of history's most resilient figures, people who basically spent decades reverse engineering human success. And what we've found in the source material, well, it's not about having some rare, raw talent or just getting lucky. It's actually about building an internal switch that completely neutralizes negativity. Let's jump right in and see exactly how they did it. Okay, let's dive into this. I want to kick things off with a pretty stark question. Do you let others control your reality? I know, it's a bit harsh, but honestly, answering that question truthfully is the very first step to making sure you don't spend your entire life just reacting to everyone else's opinions. Let's be real for a second about the modern emotional traps we all face every single day. Usually, it's the little things that totally derail us, right? Getting left on red on WhatsApp and overthinking the whole relationship, feeling completely demotivated because a post got low likes on Instagram, or dealing with someone casually mocking a dream you have. If we're constantly getting thrown off course by these arbitrary metrics and cheap criticisms, we are actively preventing ourselves from building any real mental strength. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll quickly cover 1. The real truth of emotional control. 2. The 5-second emotional reset. 3. How to use mental filters and pick the right battles. And 4. We'll wrap up with a highly practical 7-day action plan. Section 1. The real truth of emotional control. To really grasp this power, look at the story of Napoleon Hill. Picture this. He's sitting in a tiny, cramped hotel room, just completely broken after literally every single publisher rejected his book, Think and Grow Rich. But right at rock bottom, he remembered a piece of advice from the great industrialist Andrew Carnegie. The day you realize someone else's opinion cannot change your reality, you become immortal. That single realization saved him from throwing in the towel. He decided right then and there to only listen to those who had already achieved greatness. And, well, that book went on to sell over 100 million copies. And this brilliantly illustrates a vital concept observed by Henry Ford. You see, most folks out there don't actually want to do the hard work of building mental toughness. They just want the quick, temporary high of motivation. True resilience means consciously choosing the discipline of the heavy lifting over the temporary comfort of staying in your armchair. Section 2, the 5-second emotional reset technique. So, get this. Once, a guy rushed into John D. Rockefeller's office in a total panic with terrible news. A massive deal had completely fallen apart, meaning millions of dollars were just gone. Now, instead of screaming or throwing things across the room, Rockefeller simply closed his eyes for 5 seconds, opened them, smiled, and calmly asked, "Okay, what's next?" The philosophy here is incredibly simple but powerful. Emotion is just a wave. It comes and it goes. Acknowledge it, and you'll be fine. But if you hold on to that anger or frustration, it'll drag you right under and drown you. So here are the exact steps of that 5-second reset so you can use it yourself. Step 1. Actually feel the anger or frustration. Seriously, don't suppress it. Step 2. Accept that it's happening. Step 3. Release it with a deep exhale. Literally imagine that negative emotion leaving your body. And step 4. Move on. Hit delete on the emotion and immediately ask yourself, okay, what is the next solution? Section 3, mental filters and right battles. Now, what's really fascinating here is how Thomas Edison managed his daily life. He was getting over 100 messages a day. Critics, unsolicited advice, people literally telling him he was wasting his time. And he quickly realized he'd never invent a single thing if he actually replied to all of it. So he built what he called a mental filter. He kept a notebook with just 5 names in it. These were actual experts in his field, people who had achieved real things and had genuine intentions. Edison realized that out of hundreds of loud voices, only those 5 opinions actually mattered. Everything else, it was just pure noise. We actually see a super similar tactic when we look at Theodore Roosevelt's diary. On the left side are the battles he would actively choose to fight, things that advanced his mission, shaped his future, and aligned with his core values. On the right side, the battles he chose to aggressively ignore, personal attacks, political drama, and just random people's opinions. Reacting to everything is a massive sign of weakness. Being highly selective and totally ignoring the noise, that is where your true power lies. Section 4, our 7-day action plan. Okay, let's move to how this builds together, because to actually make this work, you have to stop being a passive listener. Back during the Great Depression in 1929, Napoleon Hill lost literally everything: his home, his savings, his entire business. And people brutally mocked him for writing about success while being totally broke. But in that dark moment, he realized a hard truth. Just knowing the philosophy isn't nearly enough. You have to live it. You have to test it in the real world. By actively applying his own rules, he rebuilt his life stronger than ever in just 3 years. And now you have to do the exact same thing. So, your action plan starts with a morning reflection task. Every single morning for the next 7 days, I want you to wake up and open a notebook. Your task is to explicitly identify and write down 3 specific emotional triggers that you will actively ignore that day. We're talking about things like personal attacks, office drama, or uninvited opinions. By physically writing them down, you're literally pre-programming your brain to filter them out before they even have a chance to happen. Then, throughout the day, whenever you face one of those triggers you wrote down, maybe it's a sly insult, a rejection, or just being ignored, you execute the 5-second rule. Face the trigger head-on. Pause and breathe for 5 seconds and ask yourself the golden question. Does this affect my ultimate goal? If the answer is no, let it go immediately. Do not give it another ounce of your precious energy. Finally, we need to bake in some accountability through nightly progress tracking. Every single night before you go to bed, you need to log your progress. Note down the day, whether you successfully faced a trigger, and write a quick log entry, like Day 1, 5-second rule applied. You can do this in a private journal, or, even better, drop it in the comments below to publicly track your journey with the community over the next 7 days. So, the crucial point we have to remember here, and this comes from studying these behaviors for decades, is the harsh reality of success. 95% of people are going to consume content exactly like this. They'll feel a temporary high of motivation, and then they'll do absolutely nothing. They will stay exactly where they are in life. Only 5% will actually take action, apply the 7-day challenge, track their progress every night, and ultimately succeed. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Are you going to join that 5%? Are you going to keep letting others control your reality, or will you commit to the 7-day action plan today and prove that you have what it takes? Start your morning reflection tomorrow, log your progress, and go conquer your reality. Catch you in the next one.